Hello, this is another music app review video. In this case, it's about the iReal Pro, very common and well-known music app for practicing, particularly between among jazz students. It used to be called iReal B, and there was some issues with the name, and they changed it to iReal Pro now. I'm going to show you some of the basic features, and this is very easy to use, and it's a great app to help you quickly get, and in a very easy and intuitive way, to get you going with some backing tracks to play along, especially for my bass students. So it comes in both for Android and in iOS, as well as an OS X version. I'm not sure if I'm sure there's at this point a Windows version for it, and the desktop version of it is much easier for editing and creating chord charts, like the one that you see. It's basically chord charts. Some people may say this lead sheets, but technically lead sheet will have a melody. These are only the chords for particular songs. And the first thing that happens when you download this is that you don't have any songs. So what you have to do is go here to forums, and this will take you to, and see here, classical, musical, film, and all kinds of categories where you can first of all learn a lot about the actual application, but you can also, and most important, download songs. For instance, here, pop, rock, blues, and there's going to be a lot of lists here. When you click here, and then you're going to have a list of, it's now 1400 or 1300 jazz standards, and you will have the chord changes for all those immediately downloaded to your computer, and they will appear here under playlist. So I have a lot of different playlists, songs by Stevie Wonder. You see here, like somebody, you gotta log on the chord charts, and these chord charts can be transposed and so on. But for the beginner play, so that there's a lot of applications. A lot of people use this on actual professional shows and gigs, and some people even use the backing tracks to accompany themselves playing the piano or singing, which is, to me, a little bit of a stretch, but certainly doable. Okay, so so go to forum, you download some of the different categories, and that will populate your playlist with Pop 400. You see that ABC by the Jackson 5, and you have the song right there, boom, and it will play. So I'm going to use a song as an example first. I'm going back to songs, and we're going to use that, The Girl Is Mine by Michael Jackson. It's a pop ballad, and a couple of tips that I have is that I like to use it in this mode, in vertical mode, and not landscape mode. It's easier to read, especially if you put it in a music stand or things like that. And not a lot of people know this, but you click on it and it will go this. And I have it set so when you open a song, it goes into full screen, so immediately you can see, and it's much easier to read than when it goes into this mode that you have everything related to control the computer. So I like that. Otherwise, it will open up like this, and then you have to, if the song's starting, then you have to tap again and away from your instrument. That's another step, and for playing live, it's not useful. Again, playing live, I mean reading music, not using the backing tracks, but that is also possible. So my tip is here, you click in there and you go to highlight rehearsal symbols. A lot of professionals don't know this, and they will go like, wow, all of a sudden this is black and white, and they lost all the important marks that refers to the roadmap of the song. Don't worry if you don't know where to go, but introduction, important symbols to go to the coda, DS, repetitions, endings. This way will help you not get lost in the song and with a lot of information. Anyway, that's a quick overview. I want to show you real quick what this can do. So I'm going to click play here. Hopefully you have a 2-bar count here. All right, 2-bar count, and the intro started. So I'm going to go here. This is a style pop virtual funk. Tempo is 90. I can go on the spot and change the tempo, which is great. Before, in the earlier versions, you could not do that in real time. And you have the green scroll bar will tell you exactly where you are at any given point. And here you have a mixer, and this is where bass players will unmute this. So you have like basically one harmonic instrument, the bass, and the drums. You have a general reverb effect. This will be too much because it affects all that. And then you can have more jazzy versions of the chords, and your click, in this case, is a 2-bar click. You can count what click are you going to use, what sound you're going to use for the click. Okay, so this is a little bit too fast, but let's say you want to jam a little bit, and you don't have to restructure. So you click on one bar like this. It has to be in full screen mode. And I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna highlight those 4 bars. So I have a B minor 7 and an E sus chord, and I want to loop that so I can improvise. So I'm gonna loop that, and then tap again, and that will play those 2 bars. Right, 3, 4, that's the B section, and then we'll go back to the B minor, right? And that goes on and on and on because it's a loop. So if I go here, I can play around a little bit with this sounds. This slap bass sounds actually terrible, but these sounds that come loaded in are pretty, I would say pretty decent for practicing, and not too bad at all. So you can find something more like maybe the pick bass and get that Rhodes maybe, and then I'm gonna remove the bass, and that's a little better, especially if you're gonna be grooving with the bass or improvising. Whatever you want to be doing, that will allow you to jam along with yourself very quickly. And one more thing before we go, I want to keep this not too long. I'm going to change the style and pick up, you go click here and you have all kinds of options. You can buy more packages. But let's see what happens if I go to a reggae. When you change the style, the music will stop. It's not like when you change the tempo. So let's see what the reggae sounds like. It's going to come 1 bar because I just changed it. This is loading all the instruments. Not bad. It's a pretty decent reggae. There's no bass, probably it's lower here in the mixer. And I'm going to loop these 4 bars. Notice that I could go in right away. You can either tap here or you can go click. It went back to full screen mode. So I'm going to tap here or anywhere to get out of full screen mode so I can edit my mixer. So I have a Leslie organ, and now I have another instrument. I have 2 harmonic instruments and the bass that is lower. So I'm going to crank up the drums, find another sound for that electric guitar, maybe the jazz guitar. That's the guitar. I'm going to get that Leslie organ back with more of a pad effect, and I'm going to use a jazz organ. Oh yeah, this is a little better. More volume for the recording, and then you can jam along between these 2 bars. And now let's bring the bass to see what the bass sounds like. Yeah, this will go on and on. That brings the mixer back and forth, and this sounds like this bass pattern, bim bim boom. That sounds like they're basing this reggae pattern on I Shot the Sheriff, a little bit on his rhythmic. That reminds me of that. So again, you're a bass player, you're jamming with it, and you remove this. This will be helpful to give you some ideas as what the bass can do, or because most of the styles are pretty well done, very convincing and faithful in the feel and the vibe of the overall style. So you can also learn from that as well. And by clicking this, the default instruments, this will change the instruments to the default instruments for the particular style. So within a song, you can change the style, you can change the tempo, you can loop certain parts, and you can mess with the mixer, so you can have easily instant backing track for any practice that you can do. So it's a very, very useful tool. Thank you.